I think we've all reached the point where our brains feel a little bit overcrowded. Between the 9 to 5, the constant stream of podcasts, and the infinite scroll of social media, there is always someone talking in our ears. So, about 3 years ago, halfway through my university course, I decided to try something I hadn't really done since I was a kid. I picked up a physical book. Not because I had to for a degree, but to see if I could stay still and read something for 30 minutes. It became a little bit of a habit. On my bus to university, I would take a book and I would read it. And I actually started to log and review books in a platform called Notion. So I had a digital database of actual notes that I had learnt from the book, or quotes that I liked, or words that I had looked up. What started as a habit sort of waxed and waned across the past few years. I mean, I've read a few different genres. My favorite so far is all the classic literature, the dark gothic classics. They let me escape the world a little bit, but I'm also really into health, fitness, and those sort of self-help books. Although, like I said, I've waxed and waned, I want to get back into it, and I actually picked up a book this year for the first time this year. I mean, funny that, and started to read on the bus again. That's why for today's journal entry, I want to talk about why I think everyone should get back into reading, and I want people who are reading to share what they have read currently and plan to read for this year. I want to share how I find the time to read my books, why I still prefer physical pages over an audiobook, and why this one habit might be the mental edge you've been looking for to sort of blur out the noise from your world. So let's start off by answering the question, what are the benefits of reading? Why is reading good for you? There are probably countless papers on it, but I'm just going to give my personal experience. It lets you escape the world, it trains your focus, and you genuinely learn things through the morals of the stories, whether or not they are fiction or non-fiction. For me, the genres that I like to read, as mentioned, has been classic literature. That's what I started with. I know in high school or whatever college or whatever you guys may call it, we were forced to read through Shakespeare and all these contemporary classics, Australian classics, to, gain a better understanding of the world and appreciate the literature from a time before us. I actually I think I vouch this. I was always sort of an English person, either your English or maths. I never wrapped my head around maths. But I never actually read the books in school. I was like a BS master, and I would whip out an essay analyzing all the curated quotes that I had just like found that were good and put a semblance of an essay together. But yeah, the benefit is from these timeless tales is a lot of the literature permeates throughout today's society. It inspires modern day movies and stories as well. And yeah, I mean, human nature is timeless. The other parts of the genres I read have been self-help, mostly finance and health, that sort of sector. For the self-help books, I mean, a notable one is Atomic Habits. I think there are a few others. I mean, they are bestsellers. Everyone knows about them, but they're just genuinely insightful, and I enjoyed them. And the Atomic Habits one, if you don't know, it just sets up principles how to gradually build up your life. Like it's that saying, just be 1% better every day, and eventually it will all add up. More in that are these health books. The one that I'm trying to read or started to read was The Art of Longevity, talking about health span over and lifespan, and how there's a lot of like what are the biggest causes of death really, and how can you sort of be preventative rather than reactive on that. I was reading, got halfway through. I need to read it again because I want to actually take notes. The other sector is finance books, The Barefoot Investor I've mentioned in the past, Psychology of Money. All of these I find fascinating because again, it's about this timeless greed and desire to work in our current day capitalist society. Like, sure, it's cringe to see someone reading that on the bus. I keep saying the word cringe, I don't know why. It's what I enjoy. And, if you enjoy it, I think that's okay. So, how do you actually get back into reading if you haven't? Well, I would sort of encourage you to set a reading goal. How many books do you want to read, let's say a month, or across 2 months? Or how many pages do you want to read each day? 1 page, 2 pages, a chapter? I think it's great to set these goals. The simplest thing is at least sort of reading one page a day. Let's say it's at nighttime, you've got a book out, you build up this habit of, before you go out to work, you make your bed, you put your book on your bed, you come home, when you get into bed, there's a book there already. And so it's like this sort of path of least resistance that you build for these habits. Put the book in your bag, take it out on the bus. That's how I personally got into reading. And it's really about that idea of like, yeah, all you really need to do is at least one page a day, and then it just builds up and eventually you enjoy it. But what about audiobooks? Well, for me personally, I don't really like audiobooks. I mean, sometimes I do when I listen to them like a podcast. Some people I know like read the physical book or have it open and follow along with the audiobook. I think reading by itself drives enough energy for you, like it forces you to focus pretty much. And then that's how I fully take in the book itself. And I think that is like fantastic. That's my way of doing it. If some people can't pay attention for that long doing that, then maybe audiobooks will suit them, and maybe they are more of an audio learner, right? And there's like different types of learning. Another thing sort of separate to that is podcasts. I actually really like podcasts, but a lot of the time they are built for that factor, that form factor. If I was to list some podcasts as well, I used to listen to the Iced Coffee Hour, but then I sort of got bored from them and found their sort of questions weren't like as enticing, went on random rambles. But from them, I found this lady called Codie Sanchez, who sort of focuses on this idea of like contrarian thinking and has this podcast called the Big Deal Podcast. It's all about business, how to get big, how to make it in the entrepreneurial world. The Diary of a CEO as well. I mean, classic. Some episodes are really good. Some episodes are sort of lame and odd guests as well. But yeah, like I like to listen to these on the bus sometimes as well if I don't really feel like reading. And yeah, like you learn stuff if you take notes as well, understanding. There are good, really good podcasts you can learn from, out there. I think that's mostly all the major talking points I wanted to preface and discuss. There's nothing much more. It's really just like, I think reading is great. It's a good habit. It trains your brain. I think you learn so much. Even like random academic essays, you can like learn things. I was reading one that my dad like passed on to me about like economics, and it was from this book written about economics like 70 years ago, about like the only purpose of corporate responsibility is to look good in the eyes of the public and use their corporate responsibility identity as a way to push more revenue. It's like, yeah, a lot of these ideas people write about are true. It's like, wow, you thought about that 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, 1,000 years ago. I don't know what that ramble was about, but yeah, like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. Comment in below for suggestions from other people on what you might want to read, or just comment what you are currently reading. And I will catch you guys in the next episode. Thanks.